What is going on, guys? Welcome to Reel and Roll. My name is Chase, and does your wacky rig look like this? I know mine did for years. It's a go-to for me. I have won tournaments on a wacky rig when other people could not catch a fish. It is tried and true. In this video, I'm going to teach you step by step how to catch more bass on this rig by making some very small adjustments. That way, next time you're on your favorite local watering hole, you can still be killing them on a wacky rig when no one else is catching bass. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Let's get right into it. I'm going to talk about my setup first. What am I throwing my wacky rig on? It's a Trika 3X 6-foot 6-inch moderate power fast action tip rod. And it is a little bit on the shorter side as compared to my other rods, and I'm going to tell you why. Number one, I can cast it super accurately. Number two, it makes it really easy to skip underneath docks, all right? I fish out of a kayak, so I'm a little bit lower to the water, and skipping a 7-foot rod is a little bit tricky. The line itself, this is P-Line Spin X. It's a multicolored braid. It's red and blue. It makes it super easy to watch your line when it's floating on top of the water. It's 12 pound. And then for my leader, I use P-Line Shinsei Fluorocarbon. I hope I'm saying that right. And I use anywhere from 6 to 10 pound test on that. I usually never go lower than 6 pound test. I usually don't go higher than 10 pound test on the fluorocarbon leader. Favorite soft plastic stick bait that I use for wacky rigging, and that is the X Zone Lures True Center Stick. And there's a couple different reasons. Number one, it has an indicator in the center that shows you exactly where to put that hook every time. You don't have to second guess yourself at all. It's always gonna be balanced, which is so nice. Number two, they're just as heavy as the Yamamoto Senko. So if you're worried about castability, if you're worried about sink rate, you guys have to try the X Zone Lures True Center Stick. I carry 3 colors on my kayak, and that's it. You guys know me, I like to keep colors super simple. Number one, green pumpkin black fleck. I know, super original. An oldie but a goodie. Number two, black with blue fleck. Now, number three, this one is actually a little bit different than green pumpkin and black and blue fleck. This is called the 309 color, and this is specifically from X Zone Lures. You won't find this color anywhere else. I love using the 309 color in smallmouth clear lakes, deep clear smallmouth lakes, especially in the Pacific Northwest. This thing was a smallie killer when I was living up there. All right, time to get into the nitty gritty. I'm gonna show you guys exactly what to do and what not to do to increase your catch rate on your wacky rig. Guys, there is absolutely nothing wrong with a good old-fashioned octopus style hook, and if you can use this without a weed guard on it and still be able to fish effectively, that's the key. I always recommend going without a weed guard, but let's say you're like me and you are deep in the grass all the time. You need a wacky rig with a weed guard. These are the Sniper Finesse weedless hooks, and I absolutely hate them because of that titanium guard. If you are a bass and you are checking this bait out and you nosed up to it and this poked you or hit you, I would run for the hills. Wouldn't you? I do not like these at all. This is not the hook that I recommend. All right, next up, the Apex weedless hook, and this applies to all the hooks that have the weed guard on them that go underneath the barb, okay? These right here, see how that gets trapped underneath there? Yeah, don't use this hook. And if you already have some, there's a quick trick that's gonna help you out. Go ahead and just go like this. Still weedless, but it's not gonna decrease your hookup ratio. But any of them that are trapped underneath the barb like that, do not buy them. It will decrease your hookup ratio. All right, guys, this is the one. This is the juice right here. These are monofilament. They're super duper soft. All right, that's the key. It's got a nice V to it. They're not extra long. If you bend them down, they still go right over that hook. See that right there? It's got an inline little needle point that comes just over the top. I'll put a link for these in the description for sure. So we have our hook picked out, okay? One other hook I want to show you guys real fast that also has a weed guard on it is the Clara head from Wicked Weights Quality Tungsten. This is super compact. They have it all the way up to like, I think a 1/8 ounce, so you can really get a quick fall rate on these. I love these things. I like fishing in them in the late fall especially. All right, let's get this thing rigged up. What do we have here? This is a VMC crossover ring. All right, if you guys are sick of tearing through your soft plastics, especially stick baits, you need to get a pack of these. They're cheap and they are well worth the money. It'll save you money in the long run. This is an old school Bass Pro Shop little O-ring tool. I actually cut it off to save a little bit more room in my tackle box. And we're gonna get this thing rigged, okay? We have our X-Zone Lures True Center Stick. Go ahead and throw that in there. So we have that on now. I'm gonna show you guys why I love this soft plastic so much. If you guys can see it, that little flat part right there. I'm gonna put this crossover ring directly over top of it. And that is exactly center. This thing is gonna be perfectly balanced when I throw it in the water. Okay, let's get our hook on there. And I tell you what, guys, if I were to make $1 million bet on if I could catch a bass anywhere, in any lake, any pond, any river in the country, and I could only throw one thing, this is exactly what I would tie on. And if your bite's gotten a little stale, throw on a weighted Wacky hook just like this. It's gonna increase your fall rate. Those little leggies are gonna, those little appendages are gonna move as they come down. They're gonna go woo, 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 woo. They're gonna go a little bit faster. That's gonna get you more bites when things start to dry out, or when they speed up and you're getting into a strong fall bite or spring. Okay, let's get into the juice. Here we go. The Nico skirt from VMC. We are gonna use this in our Wacky rig. So for this, I recommend not using the weighted hook. We're gonna go back to this guy. We are gonna throw on some Nico skirts. So on most stick baits, there is a pointy end and a flat end. For this, you're gonna go straight into the flat end, just like this, till that end is almost covered. Now for the pointy end, you're gonna want to cut or bite that chunk off. I don't have my scissors handy, so I'm just gonna bite it off, so that you have a flat end to work with. And we're gonna put this in there. You want to make sure that you have all these pulled back so it can go straight in, just like this. All right, so look at this funky thing. And you talk about catching some bass. One thing that I like to do on this for the VMC Nico skirt is I think these are a little bit too long. So I'll come here and I'll trim those down about halfway, so we can get those trimmed down just like this. At the end of the day, that is going to catch you a lot of bass. Yeah, we just went from this to this. And guys, if you want to catch more bass, and everyone else is throwing a Wacky rig, throw this right up against a brush pile and let it do its magic. All right, guys, let's talk about where and when we're gonna throw this. Anywhere, anytime? No. Listen, this is the perfect bait if you're a bank beater, all right? If you like working up and down the bank and you're just trying to catch some bass for that day, throw this Wacky rig. So this is one of those baits that you can throw right up next to really heavy cover. One of my absolute favorite ways to fish this is to dead stick it. Cast it out to a very specific area. Okay, let it drop on semi-slack line and get ready to reel down and set the hook. When you're fishing this, make sure you keep an eye on your braid. That's why I like to use that really high vis braid. I can see it move on top of the water. I know that there's a fish on it. I can reel down real quick and set the hook. There's not a bad time to fish this setup, but especially if you're in a high pressured area and you're fishing in 10 feet or less and you're around cover, this is the guy right here. Thank you for watching today, guys. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button. Let's reel and roll.